grab a beer and pull up a chair. Welcome to the Northwoods Beer Guy podcast. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Northwoods Beer Guy podcast. This is Mike, the Northwoods Beer Guy, and today I am joined by Mr. BK.
Hello.
How's it going, sir?
I'm good.
And we have another special guest with us.
There's another K, but it's
another
a K.
Yeah.
So Wes, my son, is here.
Yep.
WK.
WK, yes.
Okay.
So we're here in Pensacola, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
We actually came down. Wes is graduating from Naval School.
Naval School. Yep.
Yeah, so we came down. Came down to see him for a few days and such, and he unfortunately agreed to come and drink beer with us and try and give us his thoughts.
There's nothing unfortunate about that.
There we go.
Well, good. The apple didn't far fall from the tree then.
Well, in the same orchard anyway.
Yeah, same orchard. There you go. Awesome. So the first place we're at here, this is Pensacola Bay Brewing, and it's in, of course, Pensacola.
Right.
Pretty cool place. Definitely a nautical theme.
This is what they call vintage Pensacola Village.
Okay.
This is like old school, small streets. Like they didn't demo the building, but this is considered the vintage area around here.
Okay, nice. Yeah, it's really cool. I like the vibe in here. We've got two flights that we got. So we're going to start with the one that Brian has, and they were kind of the lighter in color beer. And then we got a flight where it was all kind of darker. So we're going to give them a whirl. I've never been here. Now, you've been here before.
I've been here every time I've been here. So probably this is my fourth or fifth time. And well, I've only been to Pensacola to visit my son, 3 times.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I've been in this brewery 7 times.
Okay.
We came back a couple times because right next door, the Pensacola Smokehouse is a gluten-free menu, and my wife is celiac.
Yep.
Hence her non-participation in beer tasting.
Right.
But they have a great menu, great food, and so we always stop here first, have a drink, and go over and eat barbecue. So.
Okay, nice. We also stopped at this spice place, and we're going to try some
exotic jerky.
Weird jerky.
Yep.
So that'll be later. We have
shark and camel
and yak. So we're not sure how that's going to work. We hope it's okay.
Hopefully it tastes better than it sounds.
Yeah, especially the yak.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to place my money on the camel.
On the camel? You think the camel's going to be a good one?
Yeah.
All right. I'm hoping at least one of them is. So. All right, Brian, well, what's the first one we have?
So the first one, Wesley's got a pint in front of him, and Wesley likes the more fruity beers and whatnot. We have the Desoto Raspberry Berlin Weiss, 3.5%. So we're going to start nice and easy. It is earlier in the day. It's a 5 IBU made with Bohemian Pilsner malt, white wheat, and Mount Hood hops. Fresh raspberry puree finish gives to this beer. So we're going to try this. Wes has already got a whole pint in front of him.
Oh, so this is the one that you have.
I get it.
Okay.
I think Dad orders this for me every time.
Oh.
Every time.
The last time we were here was not a raspberry. The last time we were here was something else. It was a blackberry something or other. It was a whatever the one it was for summer. It was hotter than Hades beer.
Yeah. It's like a seasonal fruity kind of thing, like low percentage.
So I just tried my first drink.
You can definitely smell a little bit of raspberry.
Just a touch. It's very faint.
I don't mind that.
No, you can
pretty
taste,
good.
You can taste the wheat.
You taste the wheat, but I think I get almost more of a raspberry flavor. But it's not over the top.
It's not a little bit tart.
Yeah, it's not like remember the Dragon's Milk raspberry one? That was just, that was way like too much raspberry.
Jelly with beer.
Yeah. Yeah, this is pretty good. I like that. Very crisp. Nice,
No, that's
very nice. Wes, what did you think of it?
Yeah, it's pretty good. The low alcohol means you can have a lot of it, and it's really good in summers.
Yeah.
down here in Florida.
Which is 11 months out of the year.
Yeah, down here, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Brian, what for a score, what would you give that?
I really do. I care for that one. That one's good. I don't mind wheat beers. I don't mind the wheat taste. I'd go for sure a 3. It's not high powered. You're not expecting that, but it's refreshing. A raspberry is not overpowering. To me, it's just a fun beer to have. I mean, you can have several of them sitting by the pool or on the beach and not worried too much about it.
Yeah. Wes, what would you give it out of 5 stars?
I'd go somewhere around 3.3.
3.3, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think this is really refreshing, a very good one for the summer, like you said, Wes. Yeah, I'm going to 3 as well, Brian. I think that, like you said, you could drink a number of them. That the raspberry is not over the top strong flavor, which I kind of really liked that fact. So yeah, that's a good one.
I both like sours and just regular fruity beer, but like for just plain, just generally not sour, like overpowering fruity beer. This is really good.
Yeah. Yep, very good. All right, Brian, what's the second one?
So next we've got the Panhandle Special Lager. It says it's a lager that features Bohemian Pilsner and Vienna malts paired with Tettnanger hops, mildly fruity aroma. So I've not
Say
had
that word before hops again.
what's that? It's Tettnanger.
Tettnanger.
Tettnanger for you beer chemists out there. Whatever that hop is, they bought extra T's when they spelled it.
Yeah. Did we put a T in there? Let's put another one just to be safe.
Just to be really safe, we'll put 3 of them and put 2 of them together. So mildly fruity aroma. I've not had this beer. Some of these I've had. And I don't know. I get a little bit of the fruity aroma, but not too much.
I'm betting it's going to be more of like your...
I'm going to pass it around. It's a lager for sure. You get that lager taste.
Oh, the aroma is definitely a lager.
Yeah. You just get a little bit of fruit. To me, that is almost more Pilsner than it is lager.
Yeah.
It's not
right on
dark.
right on that verge.
It's only 4%. This is it's a good beer, but it's a little disappointing. I was hoping for a little bit more.
I don't know if bland is the right word for beer, but there's not much going on.
It's not bad, but it's
like you said, the flavor you can tell. Like you said, Brian, it's kind of skirting that line between a Pilsner
lager
and a
normally
lager.
has a little more malty flavor to it.
Yep.
I don't mind Pilsners at all. I think Pilsners are good.
Yep.
This is a good Pilsner. Let's put it that way. Even though they're labeling as a lager, it has got a Pilsner color. It doesn't
it looks like a
cross
Pilsner.
that line into the lager.
Yeah, it's very light colored.
The next one we've got coming up is right on just across the border on the lager side. But it's a good beer. It's not bad.
Oh yeah. So Wes, for score, what would you give that one?
That one's 2.8.
2.8.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on it? I mean, is anything?
It's another one that you could just drink a lot of when it's hot. It's not anything special, but it's also not bad in the least bit.
Oh yeah, I agree. I'm gonna go with 2.7. I think it's better than average, but like you said,
100%.
Brian, you and Wes both said it kind of confuses you a little bit.
It's not as advertised.
Right. I was expecting more of that lager flavor, and
I'm right there, 2.7, 2.8, same thing. Like it's a good Pilsner. If they had labeled it as Pilsner, I would have expected that. But it's not a bad beer.
No,
I think
it's done well.
Yeah,
and it's just
and that 4%. It's refreshing. You're not expecting something strong. I think it's a good beer, but it's not
right.
What I thought.
Well, hey, so the third one that we have,
the third one I got on my list is called OPP Uncut. It's a 6%. 10 IBU. It says cutting is the delicate process of diluting a higher alcohol beer down to a lower ABV while maintaining flavor and head. So I don't know what this started. We might be able to go ask the owner and brewer up there what it started as. To me, it's the color of a lager. It's low IBU, so it can't be an IPA or something like that.
How often do beers get diluted like that?
Well, what do you think light beer is?
Yeah.
Well,
it truly is a beer that's been diluted. So
Okay.
So we're gonna try this. It doesn't give us any indication, and from our last beer, it's just tipping the scales as maybe a lager that's been diluted down. But it's still 6%, so it's not anything to shake a stick at.
Well, and I'm trying to figure out what OPP stands for.
Don't Google it.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm guessing not.
I was gonna guess, but
I was hoping it was some pirate thing, maybe. But
it's got a little bit of wheat and malt to it, like it's got a lager, but it doesn't say what it is, but it almost got a little finish of an Oktoberfest. That maize taste of an Oktoberfest. I don't know.
That's a little bit different. I mean, it's
good. It's smooth, super smooth. Up front, it's got that mazy taste of a wheat beer, but at the end, it's not bad.
I agree with you. That's pretty good.
So the raspberry we tried was 3.5. It says what? That was 6%.
Yeah.
I can't tell.
No,
I cannot tell.
That's a good point, Wes, because you can't tell the difference so far with that.
It's a very smooth beer. I really do like that. And I don't know what it is. Like I said, it just tipped the scales on the color to the lager side. Mm-hmm. That is really smooth. Whatever the hell they pushed down to get there.
Man, I'm trying to think on the score. I know that because
you're first. It's way better than average. Knowing it's 6%, I would never guess.
I'm going to go with 2.9. Just because it is a little bit different. You know what I mean? It's
weak.
I don't get the wheat part of it very much, but it's very good.
My whole thing with it, again, is we don't know what it is. It's cut down. Like maybe I want to try what's not cut.
Yep.
But there's not a whole lot of extra flavor there. I would go right at the 2.93. It's way better than average as far as beer goes.
What I was going to say, 2.93.
2.9 as well?
Yep.
Well, we all agreed on that one.
Yeah.
So like I said, it was a good beer, but it was just Yeah, it was just a little different.
A little different, and again, it makes me want a little more, right?
Yep.
So if it had given me that extra maize flavor, or given me that Oktoberfest flavor, or maybe even a little more malt or some caramel or something,
Right.
I might have gotten to where I wanted to go by trying it, right? The mystery of it being we don't know what OPP says. There's no period, so maybe it's not an abbreviation. We don't know.
I'm really hoping it has something to do with pirates.
I am hoping so too. Not a rap song from the 90s.
No. So what's the last one on your flight,
So
Brian?
last on my plate is the Riptide Amber. It's 5.5. It's 25 IBU. Which of the Ambers you usually see a little higher IBU, which is odd because they're not bitter to me at all.
Yep.
Favorite with a committed and passionate fan base, Riptide Amber combines Munich and caramel malts. Now this one I have had before,
Okay.
and the picture they have online shows a whole bunch of metals. So this is one of their more popular beers.
Okay.
Were you saying that ambers are typically higher than 25, or is 25 a higher number than
So
usual?
your pilsners and lagers are usually really low on the scale. So the most we've had thus far is 12 with that Panhandle. Ambers get a little bit higher in the IBUs, and I don't think it's bitter so much as it's
Right.
the types of hops they use and how they measure it.
Yeah.
I'm not a chemist. I'm not a brewer.
Because most of the time
Maybe
your
there's
ambers
4 T's and 1 lemon.
It could be.
could be.
Possible. So this one I have had, and I do like this beer.
I was going to say, a lot of times ambers, you don't get a bitter hop really to them, but you get a maltier, typically.
A lot of times I say ambers always get that brewed iced tea taste, right?
Yep.
And I don't know what hop it is or anything. Again, I'm not a brewer, but I do know that brewed iced tea taste can be a little bitter at the end. Right?
Yep.
So people that like sun tea, people that like hot brewed tea, that's what it is. There's a bitterness at the end. It's got a touch of that, but it'll also get a little of the caramel notes, whatever. I think this is a very smooth amber.
I like that amber. That's
I've
a
had
good
it
amber.
several times. I think on Untappd I gave it a 3.2 before, and I'll stay with that. I really do like it. I also like this one because it doesn't change with temperature. It's
Right.
still smooth. This one's been sitting out for a while.
Yep.
And it's, I don't know, what is it? It's probably 60 degrees. It's still cooler than the air, but it's really smooth all the way.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, that definitely has that malty taste. The aroma you can get it, and you do get that caramel kind of a note.
Just a
in
hint
there.
of it, right?
Yeah, and that's good. I like that.
Wes, what would you give that? There's a little bit left for you on that one, since I don't think you've had this one before. You might have tried mine at some point.
It's okay, but as you were saying earlier, that bitter tea taste, I'm not the biggest fan of that taste.
No,
I'm gonna be
a lot
honest.
of people aren't. That's
Right.
It could be that I was completely ruined growing up on sun tea, right?
But it is not a bad beverage. I'm gonna give it 6 or 7.
Okay.
Yeah, somewhere in there. I'm not the biggest fan of that bitter taste, but everything else about it was good.
Personally, I like it. I think that's a very good amber, my opinion. I'm actually going to go with 3.1. I think for an amber, it's very smooth. Like I said, I do like it almost has the right amount of that caramel flavor to it,
It's
that
not
maltiness in
overly
there.
roasted. Sometimes
Right,
there's a
right.
roasted taste that they get a little crazy with, and it makes you, question your morals almost. It's like, what is wrong with this? Something's not
So
quite right.
what are you going to give that one?
I give it a 3.2.
3.2?
Yeah, all day.
A 3.2 or a 3
3.2.
also?
Yeah, well,
okay.
no.
Just making sure.
Oh, it's 5.5.
Right.
Yeah, not a 3.2.
Awesome. Well, yeah, so those first 4, they were very good.
Absolutely.
So I guess out of those, so we'll kind of group these ones together because they're a little bit lighter. Wes, of those 4, what one do you think, if you had to recommend one of them?
I mean, I'm drinking a pint of the one right now.
Okay, so you're
raspberry.
the raspberry
definitely.
Berliner Weiss. Okay. Yeah, that was very good. Brian, what do you think?
I'm an amber guy, so I did like the Panhandle. I thought that was really smooth. It's easy to drink, but I really like this Riptide Amber. To me, just fit and finish, it's a better beer than the others.
Yep, I agree with you. I was going to pick the amber as well. The one thing I did like about all of them, I think anybody could drink them.
Yeah.
There wasn't really nothing that was like super hoppy or that would turn a person off.
Nothing polarizing, right? Nothing super juicy, not hazy.
Yep.
They're all, the drinkability on all of them are very high. If you wanted to get into something that's not a name brand out of a can, 12 ounces, 12 pack, any of these would be good starters.
Exactly. Yeah, very well. I'm looking forward to these last 4 now, just to see, because these are a little bit darker. We're going to step it up a little bit on ABV. IBUs, I guess, are a little bit higher, but I'm not expecting to taste a lot of IBUs in it. So the first one that we have on here is the Blackbeard Stout.
All right, well, let me scroll to that one and we'll talk about that.
Yeah, I see it's 6.4% and it's 30 IBUs.
30 IBU, dark and full bodied. The stout is a delicious blend of roasted malts, the dark chocolate roasty raisiny flavor. Now, I have to admit, I have had this one as well. That's probably the first one I had at this brewery, because I went 6.4 in a stout is like, that's something you have to try.
Yep.
Usually the flavors are 6.4 is at that borderline where stouts are really good.
Boy, on that initial taste, you get the stout flavor, but I do get that kind of raisiny finish to it. That's pretty good.
That is, and again, I remember too, I remember thinking, what is that? And I looked it up, the raisins. What the heck is that? Is it a date? Is it whatever?
Yeah, that is good. Very smooth. Like I said, you could drink a number of them, honestly.
It's not Guinness, but it has that starting, I always judge everything. Well, Guinness tastes like this, and that's what a stout started as,
right?
From 500 years ago or whatever.
Yep.
And that's got a lot of it in spades up front. The coffee is subtle, which I like. There is some chocolate notes in there, and again, the finish has got a little bit of that fruit, that raisiny flavor, which is unique. It's something different for sure.
Wes, what do you think of it?
I didn't quite hear the description of it until you just said coffee, and I'm honestly getting a lot of coffee from that. Like personally, I'm not someone who ever drinks coffee, so
I say coffee.
It smells. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Hold on. It doesn't say coffee. It says chocolate. Roasted malt.
That
the
checks
dark
out.
chocolate. Roasty,
that
raisiny
also checks
flavor.
out. I'm getting a good bit of chocolate as well.
Yeah,
It's interesting too. It's not a bad taste. If you two saw me, I was picking up, sipping a little bit from the back down.
Yep.
I was just trying to.
Yeah, I
pinpoint
like it. I like it. I definitely get that the roasted malts, and I get that little bit of chocolate, and like I said, on the finish, I get that raisin all day long. I mean, that's really interesting.
To me, a lot of stouts, the base of a stout's got a little bit of coffee flavor. That's why I said that kind of coffee taste in a stout. I do get the raisin at the end. Again, I had to look it up. It's like, what is that? I can't place it. Again, in the pictures here, this has got all kinds of metal sitting to it. This is a really solid stout. It's not overpowered. They didn't try to kill it with alcohol. They let the flavor shine. It's truly a great stout.
All right. Well, Brian, what would you give that one for a score?
I'm on the 3. I'm going to go 3.3 on it. Again, for taste and not trying to kill your liver, right? There's a lot to enjoy about it without having to sacrifice taste for alcohol.
Wes, how about you?
I'm at a 2.8.
2.8? Okay.
Yeah, not bad in the least bit.
I was going to say, I'm going to go with 3.3 as well. I thought it was very good. I mean, it's one of those, it's hard to find kind of just a stout, you know what I mean, anymore with that don't have a lot of flavors added.
It's not barrel aged and doesn't have a bunch of stuff added.
Right, so it's a very good, I'd recommend that to anybody. Anybody could drink that one too. So.
And again, a lot of people stay away from dark stuff, not because of the color, because they think it's 18% alcohol.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. So the next one that we have is their Dunkel, and this is a 5.4% ABV and 22 IBUs.
So it says 5.4, 22. It's a fermented with lager yeast. This ruby brown brew boasts delicious notes of chocolate, bready, nutty goodness. And then it says "Don't be," and I don't know what's after that. But they quit the description right there.
Okay.
Don't be.
This is absolutely the color of a dark iced tea.
Oh yes, for sure.
And I did try a little bit of this the last time we were here. They just tapped it, but I just got a little taste of it.
Okay.
And the smell does kind of have that doughy, yeasty smell to it. That's a really good Dunkel. I'll hold my words until after, but everybody tries it.
Oh yeah, you get that
yeasty smell, right? I don't get the. I just get maybe a little sweetness, and maybe that's
just
the
a
chocolate.
hint.
But it's almost like a hazelnut or a pecan at the end of it.
Kind of, yeah.
It's not black walnut.
No.
Obviously, we know what a good black walnut beer is, but that is a solid Dunkel.
Man, what do you think, Wes?
All right, I don't know how to explain any of these flavors, but they're whatever they are, they're good. So I'm gonna give it a 3.2.
3.2.
Sure, there's a guy that just right to it. I don't know what the flavor is, but I like it.
Yep.
That's the fastest score besides Jim I've ever heard.
It tastes good.
Whatever it is, I like it. Here's the number.
I wanted it again.
You're right, Brian. That was a very good Dunkel. I mean, it had that little bit of sweetness, pretty faint, but it was there. I don't know. It was very good. I drink more of that.
Dunkels are one of those beers too that can be polarizing, where it's super. What do I want to say? Thick, like in your mouth. It's not thick in the glass, but it's like it's bread. It's liquid yeast. It's the super lager flavor.
Yep.
Or they can be nothing. Like it's just colored water. This one's a really solid Dunkel for sure.
Yeah.
Well, we had one recently, I think on a podcast that was a Dunkel that was really good. And I don't remember.
I can't remember that we did, but I can't remember what.
I don't know if I brought it.
It was up north.
We brought it back from Kansas, maybe. I don't remember if that was one of them I brought back.
Yes, it was. Yeah, I believe it was. You had the black walnut. You had I'm trying to remember.
Well, and then it was on an Oktoberfest.
Oktoberfest, but then anyway, yeah, that was a good.
Somebody
one.
will go back and look, but we had a really good Dunkel.
Very good. What are you thinking on score?
Man, if I think back all of the Dunkels I've had, this one rates up there. Probably, I'd have to go probably a 3.2, 3.3 on it. I mean, the only thing I could wish for would be maybe a little more caramel or a little bit more of that chocolatey.
Right.
But it's super smooth.
Oh yeah, and I'm right there with you. I'm going to 3.2 as well. I thought it was a really good example. If somebody out there has not had a Dunkel before, I'd have them try that.
Yeah,
that's very good.
If you ever want to have one, don't try to spell it, but you should have one of these.
So we have 2 beers left, and I'm wondering if we should skip to this one because it's more like the Dunkel.
I think we go, and
then use the. So the next one that we're going to have is a Doppelbock. So it's going to be another kind of a wheat style, 7.5% ABV and 34 IBUs.
And this one I have nothing about.
Right.
This is one of their seasonals.
I think this is one of their new ones. It's definitely a darker color.
Just
darker.
One shade darker than the last one.
You can start it off for us.
Which always brings me back to one of my favorite MASH episodes. Bock. Get some more roasty and nutty flavors when I smell it.
Oh yeah, he definitely has that. You can tell the difference between that and the Dunkel and the other one for sure.
This one, it feels like you can taste the alcohol a lot more than the rest.
A little
of them.
stronger.
This one is 2% higher.
Yeah, but
definitely, and it has a little bit of a dry finish to it.
I was just going to say,
when
it's
you
almost
swallow it, and it kind of sides your tongue kind of dry out a little
like
bit.
a cask flavor. When some of those we had that were in wine barrels or sherry barrels or something like that. It's different.
Yeah.
I don't get nearly the smell. You get the really roasted, nutty notes.
For sure.
I don't get that in the finish, and I don't get it. I get a little bit up front. Go ahead. I like the fact that the grain, I mean, obviously Doppelbock is in there with the high grain and the grain style. It's not offensive. The grain portion of it.
I agree. Score-wise, what are you thinking?
I'm trying to think what I can compare it to. Doppelbocks are so seasonal and whatnot. You don't get them all that often.
Yeah.
I'd probably go 2.9.
Okay.
I mean, I do like the fact that we get a little extra alcohol in it as far as the taste. It's a little bit more bitter than I expected it to be. Doppelbocks can be that roasty, nutty, whatever flavor. It's different. Like I said, I don't know if they didn't age it in anything that I know of, but it's a drier finish, which is different.
I wish we had more info on it, like on their website, but I think they probably just recently put it on tap. I'm going to go at 2.8, and the only reason I'm going to go a little bit lower was just that dryness on the finish.
It's an acquired
It's acquired taste, and it's not bad. We've had way worse, but it's just kind of gives you that. To me, it's just kind of, I can see where a person may not like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wes?
I was also gonna go 2.8. It's the if the alcohol taste wasn't as strong as it was, it probably would have been closer to 3.1. But the bitterness of the alcohol,
I think a little bit. It could detract from the taste just a little bit.
Yeah. Yep, just a little bit. Okay, boys. Well, we're to the last one. Now, the Doppelbock, it was actually the Conquistador Doppelbock was the name of it. This one is the Queen Anne Imperial Stout. This is the highest ABV that we have here. It's 8.8%.
I think I have some information.
32 IBUs. As you can see, it's dark.
It is the darkest one we've
very
got.
dark.
Not see any light through it.
No.
Blackbeard. I don't think I have anything on the Queen Anne. I do not. So we'll have to. We'll just have to express ourselves.
Yeah,
Figure it out.
So Wes, why don't you start? Take a sip there and contemplate your thoughts. And
what's the ABV on this one?
8.8.
8.8.
Yep.
It's an Imperial.
Yep. So like I said, it's the strongest one we've had.
It does not taste like the strongest one.
No.
Really?
I have had this one before too, obviously.
It absolutely does not taste like
I'm 99% sure this is the first one I had in this brewery, sitting in this room. Yep.
The aroma is not, it's more roasty than
it's more
boozy,
stout.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, most Imperials, like you say, you can smell the alcohol.
You could ask me all day, what do you think this ABV is? And I'd be like
6.5. Yeah,
somewhere in there.
It's a really roasty Imperial stout.
There you go, yeah. If you're not paying attention, it could get you after a couple of them.
And again, they did a really good job of mixing and finishing that you don't get that big boozy flavor.
Yeah,
right?
that is pretty incredible. Like I said, there's no way I'd have thought it was 8.8. Drinks very smooth. Definitely has a little bit stronger flavor.
It has more of the stout bitterness.
Yes,
Yep.
that stout bitterness with it, the malted grain. It's
And
like you can taste
when
that.
you smell it, you expect to get that alcohol flavor, that
Yes.
strong note, and it's not there.
Right.
Whatever
No,
they
that's
did
good.
to cover it is really
What's
good.
that last one that we had that I said that was really chocolate?
That would have been the
The real chocolate? Are you talking?
Yeah.
Was it the Blackbeard Stout or the Dunkel? Because then we had the Doppelbock's the only.
the Doppel or the Dunkel. It's
The
a one
Dunkel,
that
I
had the
think, so, that
chocolate.
you thought
Yeah.
it was.
It might have been, but that is what I feel like this one. Well,
Should have been.
yes,
And the base could be the same.
that
It
last
could be.
one should have been what this one was.
Okay.
That's the stout, the Blackbeard Stout.
Yeah.
It's got the raisiny finish.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yep.
No, it's a really good stout.
Yeah, for sure.
An Imperial, it's going to be above 8% or whatever. They're double what a normal one is, or whatever the
8.8.
case.
So you can
ahead.
have it, man.
That's it's a really good stout.
That is good. I like
I'm
it.
pretty sure on Untappd I gave this a 3.3 before.
Okay, is that what you're gonna do?
Yeah, I'll go 3.3. And
Okay.
again, this is another one where the alcohol content doesn't take away from the taste.
Right.
Right. If you're gonna, some people just drink to get drunk. I don't necessarily
Yeah,
do that,
right.
especially craft beer. But you can sip on these. This one's been sitting out since we started this podcast, so almost 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It's good warm. It's good cold. I've had it ice cold. It doesn't matter. Really good beer. All around
Yeah.
good beer.
For the temperature it's at now, we should be getting all the flavors.
Yep.
You know, so it had a really good flavor, I thought.
Yep.
So, Wes, what do you think on a score, man?
I'm gonna go with 3-2.
3-2. Okay.
This is another one that I can't really describe other than slightly chocolatey like I did in the other ones, but it's just good.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I'm going to go with 3-3 as well. I just think that for an Imperial, it's a very good representation of an Imperial. Drinks very smooth. It's not over the top. Sometimes it's really strong.
Yeah.
They go really crazy on the flavor. This one, I think, is anybody could drink it. Like I said, it does have that little bit of bitterness.
Yep.
But not bad.
Well, bitterness
You
and
know.
alcohol is what scares people away from dark beer.
Yes.
And this has got a little bit of the alcohol and a little bit of the bitterness. So if you're wanting to get into that stronger beer category, this would be a good entry level. Like, it's not going to be the 18%er.
Right.
Or even like Surly Darkness 2024 is out and all that. It's not there. This is your stepping stool to
Yep.
get to the taller beers.
Yep.
And it's a really smooth one. And it's got a lot of flavor. There's a lot to like about it.
I agree. So of these four, I guess, Brian, was there any of them that you thought stood out above
the one that I really, really liked was the Dunkel. I mean, I've had 3 of the 4 of those before. The Dunkel was a really good beer. The Doppelbock, I like them all. But if I were to go 1, 2, it would be the Dunkel and then the Stout, and then the Imperial Stout,
Imperial,
Queen
yep.
Anne.
How about you, Wes?
Was it the Dunkel that I rated really fast?
Yes.
That was it.
Yeah, you didn't even think about that
You
one.
were all you had were numbers on your brain. You were
Yep.
lost for words.
Yep.
He was
that
like,
one.
that's it.
Yep.
You know, and it's funny. I agree 100%. I think number 1 was the Dunkel. Number 2 is the Imperial Stout.
Yeah.
And
100%.
It's a close on the other 2.
and the other 2 are very close to each other, but that Dunkel, I think, kind of stole the show a little bit. And this was awesome.
Yeah.
They were all great.
Yeah. To
So
me,
cool.
overall, right? Overall, the Dunkel was probably my favorite. The second is the Amber, but I'm an Amber person. I really
Right.
like the Ambers and the Reds. And then the Stout. So those are my top 3.
Yeah, I say when you combine them all together, I agree. I think the Amber was right up there, and I think that in probably 4th place, and very close for me, was the Raspberry. I really did like that.
Yeah,
That was a
So,
refreshing beer for sure.
So awesome, guys. Well, hey, I guess that kind of wraps up our little episode here from Pirate Bay. I'll show the pictures. There's pirates.
There's
stuff,
pirates
ship
everywhere.
Stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's Pensacola Bay
There you go.
Brewery. So yeah, Wes, thank you so much for
Thank you.
agreeing to do this, and we may be walking around and hit a few other places yet
Absolutely.
today, and all that good stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening, and like we always say, we hope your campfire is always warm.
And the beer is cold.
See ya. Thank you for listening to the Northwoods Beer Guy podcast. If you have a question, a comment, or a beer you'd like us to review, please feel free to send us a message at northwoodsbeerguy@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you're on Untappd, look up Northwoods Beer Guy and send a friend request. Until next week, I hope all your campfires are warm and all your beer is cold.